What's up, everybody? It's Alain Gonzalez with musclemonsters.com. Welcome to another episode of Ask Alain, where I take your questions directly from my Facebook page and answer them right here on video. If you want to get your questions answered, go to facebook.com/musclemonsters, like the page, and then when I post a status stating that it's question time, put your question up and I'll answer it on this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, first question comes from Tom Richards. When working a specific muscle group, how many types of exercises do you think is a minimum for that workout? It's going to depend on which muscle group, but just to give you a generic basic answer that's straight to the point, I would say anywhere from 2 to 4, 2 being the smaller muscle groups and 4 being the larger muscle groups. Alright, and because I'm going to answer every question I've received this time, I'm going to keep the answers short, simple, and to the point. The next one comes from George Man Garcia. He wants to know, how many times should you eat a day and how big of the meals for maximum gains while bulking? Alright, George, the number of times that you eat per day is completely up to you, and I made the mistake of telling people that you must eat 6 times a day if you want to grow, simply because that's what worked for me. Eating 6 times a day is not a requirement. The only requirement is the amount of calories that you consume. So whether you consume them in 3 meals or in 6 meals, it really doesn't matter as long as you get the full amount of calories. Alright, so the size of the meals are going to depend upon how many meals you're having. So if you're having 6 meals, they could be a little bit smaller. If you're having 3 meals, they might have to be a little bit larger. But again, whatever it takes to get to that caloric requirement for the day. And as far as the meal frequency, again, doesn't matter, 3, 6, 4, 2, it doesn't matter as long as you get the proper calories in. Alright, the next question comes from Joseph Molina. How should skinny 16-year-olds gain mass? Probably the same way a 20 or a 30-year-old should gain mass. You know, eating the proper nutrients, eating enough of them, sleeping enough, and training correctly. If you need a specific program and you're a beginner, I'm still giving away my Mass in a Flash guide. It's specifically for skinny guys and ectomorphs. I'll put a link in the description so you can download that, go through that, and then if you have any more questions after that, go ahead and post them back up on the page, Joseph. Alright, and the next one goes to Eric Ortiz. How can you get rid of fat on the lower abs area? And I drink over a gallon of water a day, but why am I always so thirsty when I wake up? Alright, Eric. Getting rid of fat in specific areas is not possible. I can't say, oh, I got a little bit of flab on my arm, so I want to get rid of the fat there. Or there's a little bit of flab on my leg, I want to get rid of it there. You just overall have to burn fat. And once your body gets lean enough to where it has to get the fat from that specific area, then you'll notice that it will take it from that area. Different people will react differently. So for example, when I start cutting, I lose a lot of the fat in my midsection first, or in my arms first. It just depends. Everyone's different. Eventually, once you get lean enough, your body will absolutely have to take the fat from where it is stored. In your case, it will be the lower fat. So continue on your fat burning program, but just give it time, because eventually it will come from where you want it to come from. Alright, Ahmad Rashid. What's the difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding? And which will build more size? Alright, the difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding, bodybuilders are looking to build their bodies. Powerlifters are simply looking to build strength and get stronger. It is possible to be a powerlifter and gain no size, and this is how Olympic lifters could be 135 pounds lifting, crazy amounts of weight without putting on any mass, because they are powerlifting. And the bodybuilder is actually training for hypertrophy in order to build muscle on his body. The next question, Colin Riley. When bulking up, what would you say is the allowable amount of cheat food in a diet to bulk up? Since some people need to eat a huge amount, keeping it clean, yet getting in large amounts of calories can be hard. Alright, that's a great question. But I'm going to tell you this. You can call it a cheat meal, you can call it whatever you want really, but the fact of the matter is if it can fit into your macronutrient breakdown, then it's totally fine. Alright? Now, what does that mean? Everybody knows how many calories they need in order to build muscle. And then you give a macronutrient breakdown of those calories. So for example, you do 40% carbohydrates, 40% protein, and then 20% fats. So now you know exactly how many carbs you need, how much fat you need, and how much protein you need. Alright? So, it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you meet those macronutrients. And I know what you're going to say. Well, shit, I could eat donuts all day and build muscle? No, it doesn't quite work that easily. And I'll tell you why. And it's simple. It's because if you do follow that macronutrient breakdown, it will be impossible for you to eat shitty. You're almost forced to eat the right foods if you follow those macronutrients. So, whatever your macronutrients allow, go ahead and consume. But just make sure that you stay within those macronutrients. And I hope that made sense to you. Alright. Next question. I'm kind of just going through them here. I'm almost done. But Royth Shestri, and I'm sorry if I'm massacring your guys' names. Hi Alain, I've been working out since 6 months now and completed your bony to brawny as well. But still, when I see my physique, I kind of feel that I'm lacking my rear delts, because when I see my shoulder from the front, looks good, but from the back, kind of don't have that much definition. Any exercise for that? Okay, great question, Roy. Alright, for the rear delts, and I'm going to put my phone away so that I can kind of give you a visual. A lot of the people, when they train their rear delts, they train with a movement like this one here, where you're using a lot of your back, and you are targeting the rear delts with this movement. However, if you want to isolate the rear delts, you're going to do one thing. With this movement here, you're going to pronate, alright? You're going to pronate and you're going to keep your back flat, and you're going to lift with your elbow. A lot of people tend to lift with their back. Lift with your elbow. From the elbow up with your shoulders pronated, and I promise you that will isolate the rear delt, and that's really the only exercise or type of exercise that I use for my rear delts and have gotten amazing results, and big props to Big Ben Pikowski for showing me that. Albert Herrera, what's up Alain? My question is, when bulking up, if we can't meet our daily calorie intake, is it okay to take some weight gain or shake to compensate for it? Good question. It's always better to meet your calories than not to meet them. So regardless of what it is, it's always better to meet it, as long, like I said before, as long as you can stay in that macronutrient breakdown. Alright? Alright, and David Scott wants to know, what's your advice for someone with a lot of chest real estate but small pectorals? And I'm assuming he's got a lot of space here, but his chest just isn't popping like he would like it to. Alright, David, just basically following a program that targets chest growth. Alright, so if you have a lagging muscle group, for example, right now I'm working on my arms. For you, for example, you want to work on your chest. What I would advise is keep doing what you're doing if you feel like you know what you're doing as far as chest workouts, but simply add an extra chest day to your routine. So Monday and Friday, completely dedicate those 2 days for your chest. Also, start to really focus on the negative movement. Everybody knows, or should know by now, that the eccentric part of every movement is just as crucial, if not more crucial, than the concentric. So 3 to 4 second negatives on all your chest workouts. do 2 chest workouts per week. Do that for about 4 weeks, and I'm sure you're going to notice a nice amount of growth where you'd like it. And definitely keep me posted on how that goes right here on the Facebook page or the YouTube, doesn't really matter, but keep me posted. I'm interested in knowing how that goes for you, and I hope I've answered everybody's question. I hope that I wasn't going too fast. I hope that I wasn't rambling, but hey, what can I do? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to get your questions answered, go to facebook.com/musclemonsters, like the page. Next time I post a status stating it's question time, post your question, and I'll try to answer it here. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed. See ya.